Peru News Today. All you need to know about Peru.
Universitario suffered in Brazil. They lost 3-1 to Botafogo for the Copa Libertadores. Universitario fell to Botafogo, 3-1, on matchday 3 of the group stage of the Copa Libertadores. Next time, the cream team will receive Junior from Barranquilla. In one of its worst defensive games, Universitario de Deportes fell 3-1 to Botafogo in a match corresponding to matchday 3 of Group D of the Copa Libertadores de América. The goals of the match were scored by Carlos Eduardo, 2, and Luiz Henrique for the Brazilian team, while Christopher Olivares scored for the Peruvians. Those led by Portuguese Artur Jorge had many difficulties creating football in the first half. The life-or-death duel was complicated for them from the beginning. In the 8th minute, the team's scorer, Tiquinho Soares, took to the grass and asked for a change. 10th Botafogo player with a muscle injury so far this year. Eduardo, a playmaker with a nose for a forward, came in for him, although the great offensive potential was on the right wing. Luiz Henrique, the most expensive signing in the history of Brazilian football, paraded with ease. The best of Universitario came through the boots of Edison Flores, who almost scored a great goal from outside the area. Botafogo finally found the light at the end of the tunnel in a run by Junior Santos at the start of the second half. The attacker entered the area and crossed the ball for Eduardo, who only had to push the ball. With the relief of being ahead on the scoreboard, the black and white team shook off the pressure and expanded the gap with the wonder of Luiz Henrique. Gregor started the play with a defensive steal and connected with Savarino, who left the former Betis player alone. The number 7 shirt, with complete calm, pulled the ball as if with a thread, dribbled past Britos and fired at will. Universitario sought the impossible by raising its marks, but by then Botafogo was full of confidence and sentenced through Eduardo in the 93rd minute. A minute later it was the turn of Peruvian Christopher Olivares to put the finishing touch to the match. Universitario registered its first defeat of the entire season in Brazil, where it could not sustain its main strength and showed individual performances below average. 8 months and 25 games passed for Universitario de Deportes to be defeated again. First fall of Fabian Bustos in charge of the Creams, a long streak to stand out in the Cream team, but that also did not leave aside that a dependence on that defensive bolt that in Rio de Janeiro found a rival that was becoming more recurrent at another speed, enough to disrupt the entire structure and achieve a result that was not far from seeing a greater difference. The U repeated the base they played in Barranquilla. 1-3-5-2 with the 3 usual defenders, Andy Polo and Segundo Portocarrero on the sides, Jorge Muriguera in the axis, Martin Perez Gages and Rodrigo Urania as interiors, supporting Edison Flores and Alex Valera in attack, substitute for the injured Rivera. Urania and Muriguera, overwhelmed midfield. As happened in Colombia, Bustos used Rodrigo Urania to the left of Jorge Muriguera. The Universitario midfield was not strengthened in defensive or neutralization roles despite having 2 players who, due to their characteristics, offer answers for those needs. It happened with Junior and was repeated against Botafogo. The Fogão found its way to find itself in front of the cream rear, continually filtering behind the midfield trident, an aspect that could be understood by the little continuity of these elements together. Muriguera was overwhelmed to lead Universitario on whether to tilt or jump to the pressure, while Urania was far away from the specific areas where the match was decided. The Chilean found himself leaning towards the left sector, forced to support an erratic Portocarrero and who faced Luiz Henrique, the unbalancer of the contest. Universitario falls for the first time and reaches the middle of the group stage with 4 of 9 possible points and in 3rd place in its series, after already making 2 visits and just behind 2nd place by 1 goal. Regardless of the defeat, the possibilities in the Copa Libertadores are intact, and with 2 upcoming games at the Monumental, where a different proposal is expected in the game after the lesson of Rio. Leave us your comment and subscribe to continue growing, and follow us on our social networks, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram and TikTok.
Peru News Today. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram.